In February 2019, everything changed. Alec's 19-year-old son, Paul, drunkenly ploughed the family's 17-foot fishing boat into a bridge pylon, killing his teenage friend, Mallory Beach. With a blood alcohol content 3 times over the legal limit, Paul was eventually charged with 3 felony counts of boating under the influence, despite his family's attempts to cast the blame elsewhere. Then late one night in June 2021, after visiting his dying father in the hospital, Alec returned to Moselle, his 1,770-acre hunting estate, to discover his wife Maggie and Paul brutally murdered by the dog kennels. As he stood over their bullet-ridden bodies, he tearfully called 911, saying they'd been hurt bad. Within hours, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, SLED, had reassured the public there was no danger, naming Alec a person of interest in the murders. 3 days later, his father Randolph III died of cancer after a long illness. In the wake of the double homicide, SLED reopened a 2015 unsolved killing of gay nursing student Stephen Smith, which Alec's oldest son Buster had been linked to. Soon afterward, SLED opened a criminal investigation into the strange February 2018 trip and fall death of the Murdaugh's longtime housekeeper Gloria Satterfield, amidst gossip that Paul had been involved. The collapse of the Murdaugh House of Cards was now well underway. Exactly what happened after Alec ordered Fast Eddie to shoot him remains unclear. Initially, Alec, who survived the shooting, claimed to have been changing a flat tyre by the side of the road when a driver in a truck pulled up, asking if he was having car trouble before shooting him in the head. Investigators were immediately suspicious. Though his tyres were later found to have been slashed, his Mercedes had been state-of-the-art run-flat tyres and could have been driven another 50 miles. They also found that the knife used to do it belonged to Alec. A week after the shooting, Big Red fessed up. He admitted to hiring Curtis Smith to murder him, so his surviving son Buster could collect his $10 million life insurance. Smith had a totally different story. He claimed that after Alec's order, he wrestled the gun away, and during the struggle it had gone off without any bullet hitting Alec. He'd then panicked and driven off, dumping the firearm on his way home. Through his team of high-powered attorneys, Alec insisted that Smith had shot him in the head, leaving entry and exit wounds and fracturing his skull. Nevertheless, he was still able to call 911 for help, before being helicoptered to Savannah, Georgia for emergency treatment. Days later, he checked himself into an Atlanta drug rehabilitation clinic. Things were moving really quickly, and really negatively, Alec later explained. My world was caving in. I was in a very bad place. 1. Early days. The Murdaugh family has deep, deep roots in South Carolina's fabled Low Country. The non-stop drama and colourful exploits of the early members of the Murdaugh family would echo through the generations to come, until the family's tragic fall, like a classic Greek tragedy. Alec's great-great-great-grandfather, Josiah Putnam Murdaugh I, was born on Christmas Day, 1793, in Islandton, South Carolina, just a few miles away from the Moselle hunting lodge where Paul and Maggie Murdaugh would be murdered 228 years later. Josiah's wife, Mary Ursula Vaughn, bore him 2 sons, Josiah Putnam II in 1830 and Alonzo in 1857. 2 of her relatives, James G. Vaughn and his younger brother, the Reverend Little Berry Vaughn, owned a sawmill in the tiny village of Dixie. In 1872, they sold the right-of-way to the Port Royal and Augusta Railroad for train tracks to go through their land and made their fortune. The Vaughn brothers then founded their own town, Vaughnville, on the north side of the tracks. Over the next 150 years, the booming railroad would play a commanding role in the Murdaugh family saga in so many different ways. Soon after Vaughnville was established, Josiah Putnam II married Annie Marvin Davis, the first cousin of Jefferson Davis, the President of the Confederate States. Josiah was appointed Vaughnville's official moneylender, before making his first fortune in phosphate mining and commercial fertilizer. He later